want to do a just kind of short video here talking about risk. And there's a Bible verse I want to read. This is in Mark. It's in Mark chapter 1, right in the beginning. It's 12 and 13. It says, "The Spirit then compelled Jesus to go into the wilderness where he was tempted by Satan for 40 days. He was out among the wild animals, and the angels took care of him." I was going through some scripture this morning. I was going through part of Proverbs and then ended up in Mark. And I kind of stopped there right at the beginning because I was thinking about how cool it is. Like when I started my gutter business, I would be out like in the middle of nowhere, you know, and working sometimes in the dark, like it'd be raining and like there'd be nobody home at the house. And like if I fell and got stuck out there, like I would have been dead, you know, like if I wasn't able to use my phone or something, like what if I fell on my phone, you know, that would have been it. And same with the ice dam steaming. I do, if you're from a place where it's warm, that you might not know what that is, but with ice dam steaming, it's like a lot of times it's below 0, you know, Fahrenheit. And you're out there and a lot of times it's dark because in the wintertime, you know, it's not light that much throughout the day. So probably half what I was doing in the dark. And same thing, I'd just be in the middle of nowhere sometimes by myself. There'd be nobody at the house. Like if I fell or got stuck out there, locked myself out of my vehicle and I didn't have my phone, like I would freeze to death. Like it's crazy. And I was reading that and just thinking, like, it is amazing how the Lord has taken care of me in my life, and it's just so awesome. And so that was very personal this morning when I read that, talking about he was out among the wild animals, and the angels took care of him. And I just think that's something God does in our lives when we're being obedient to Him. And anyways, all that being said, a big part of, for me, why it's not that risky for me to be putting so much money into crypto, like basically all the cash that I can, I'm putting into crypto. Like everything I have available. I need like 10 to 20 grand in the bank, or at least I did up until this year, just to run my business, in case there's like a slow time, or like, okay, what if I fell off a roof and broke my leg and I couldn't work for like 2 months or something like that, you know. My baseline bills are like, if I'm doing nothing, you know, it's going to be about, 10 grand a month. Like that's what I have to pay no matter what. If my wife and I are really just bare bones, like if that's the right word for it, like not spending money, like I have a lot of expenses just from vehicle loans and stuff like that, because rather than paying a ton of taxes, I've taken out a bunch of loans. Like we don't own 3 of our vehicles. My gutter machine, I don't own it. I will in a couple months. It's weird paying stuff off after a few years. I've had like several things I've paid off, and now I'm borrowing against them. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, so like the level of risk for me is like is so low with crypto, because it's like, man, even on a nice day where I'm in just a normal neighborhood and there's people around, you know, if I was to fall and break my leg, you know, they'd call somebody, an ambulance, and they'd haul me off or whatever. Even in that situation, that's extremely risky, you know, because it's like, what's going to happen then? What if I break my neck and I can't work at all? And now I have these massive debts, you know, and I have no way of figuring out how to pay them off. Well, we're going to end up in some sort of situation where we're filing for bankruptcy, or they're taking our vehicles or whatever. I don't know how it would all work. But what I'm doing just in my everyday business is extremely risky. I don't have employees. I kind of felt like the Lord didn't want me to have employees, at least for this year, because I don't really feel like I'm called to grow this huge business. You know, I've been unemployed, I guess, for about 4 years now. It's been just about 4 years since I've had a job. And so I've been an independent contractor since then, started with the marketing business, and then that led into the seamless gutter business, which is how I made most of my money. I think we did like 30 grand with the marketing business, which at the time, that was more than enough money for me to live and stuff, you know, because I was just single and living with a group of dudes from church, and it was cool. But Yeah, so the risk for me with crypto and putting all my money in is like it's so low compared to the risk of continuing to do what I'm doing now for another 5, 10, 15 years. Like everybody I talk to has fallen off of roofs. Everybody I talk to has, that's been doing this for a while, has broken bones, has had different things happen, knows people personally who have died doing construction stuff. I mean, it's a very real thing. Gutters, big long metal gutters, seamless gutters, right? Sometimes you're hanging a 50-footer or 80-footer. You touch a power line with that, the wrong power line, you're done, man. Everybody there is cooked, like literally cooked, you know. So like, so when I really don't have a lot of people in my life, like personally, that I talk to about crypto. I have groups that I'm in online, different things like that. I'll ask questions and things, but I really don't have a lot of people personally I know who are doing this or who I talk to about this, because it's just seen as such a risky thing. But it's like, man, just regular life, there's a huge level of risk to it, as well, and that was kind of what I just wanted to point out in this video. So I hope I didn't just say the same thing like over and over again, like 10 times there, but I really thought that would maybe be helpful for some people. And even looking at, for me, debt and using debt to buy crypto. I'm not like I got in, a week ago and watched a couple videos and now I'm starting to invest a bunch of money. I've spent this whole last year, basically all of 2024, which is still, you could say that's getting in late for this cycle, but I'm literally working by myself with headphones on every day, putting up gutters, whereas previously I had employees with me. I would talk to them. I'd never have headphones on. This whole year I've been by myself, a lot of times 8-10 hours a day listening to crypto stuff. I would say there's no way I've averaged less than 40 hours a week listening to crypto YouTube on my headphones and in the private groups, listening to things, listening to deep dives on projects. So it's like, it is a full-time job for me. I didn't start putting in a lot of money until August. So I spent, 8 months researching, almost 9 months, I would say. It was the beginning of September. Researching, just digging in, making sure, when I'm ready to go for this thing, I'm ready to go. And my whole plan the entire year was I was trying to figure out credit, because I didn't want to put in a couple grand or 10 grand or whatever. I wanted to try and borrow $100,000, $200,000 and put it in. I wasn't able to. I had to learn a lot about credit too, but I was able to, figure out credit and everything like that, to where, I'm not necessarily using a whole bunch of money directly off of credit cards to put it into crypto, but you can liquidate them by not paying your bills and carrying a balance with those 0% interest credit cards. And for me, if my bills are 20 grand a month, well, there you go. You can really get a lot in pretty quick by not paying those bills, carrying a balance on the cards, and just paying off small amounts. So that's kind of been my strategy and where I'm at. I think I talked about this in some of the other videos on here too, but I think I put in, if you count my Hive Mappers, my 3 little Hive Mapper devices, I think I spent $2 grand or so on the one, and then the other ones, about $300 a piece. So probably a little less than $3 grand on those, and then the rest has just been liquid cash that I put in. I probably got 20 grand that I've put in just into buying into projects in the last like 3 months or so, and I really would like to get another 10 grand in by the end of this year. Part of what I realized there was a whole area I didn't hit with lines of credit. I honestly should have, looking at it now, instead of focusing on credit cards, went after lines of credit and looked at stacking personal and business lines of credit. I don't know if I would have been as successful in getting the funds, but I did a run through, not yesterday, but the day before, went like 4 hours of researching at night, because I realized there's personal loans. People give you personal loans and personal lines of credit. Some of these smaller companies narrowed it down to about 15, ended up applying to 12 of them, I think. to basically where I think the soft pull side of it, the soft inquiry side of it, narrowed it down to about 6 of them, to where I ended up with 6 different pages open on my phone, to where I just, when I was ready, I went through and hit submit on all of them, and then went through with the hard inquiries. So I think I got about 6 hard inquiries, and I think I got 2 of them. I don't know this for sure. I'm still waiting to hear back on both of them, but I think I got 2 of them. One, I believe, is for $2,800 personal line of credit, so I can, use that on a month-to-month basis. And the other one, I think, is a $10,000 personal installment loan, so they'll just put 10 grand cash in my account. Don't know if I got that one for sure, but I believe I got the other one. And all of that money I'm putting into crypto. Man, it's so all of this being said, that can sound crazy to people, but for me, that's like the least risky thing that I could do. I mean, it's what I'm doing every day. It's so dangerous. And I would go as far as to say this: if you drive to work, if you get in a car and you go to work, even if you ride your bike and you're out on the road riding your bike to work, what you're doing is just as dangerous as what I'm doing with my gutter business, putting up gutters on people's houses 20, 30 feet in the air. So, yeah, I guess to just encourage you guys, for me, it's my personal relationship with Jesus. That's why I do everything that I do, and or at least I want it to be why I do everything that I do. So for me, that's how I make calls. That's how I do stuff, and I'm not gonna listen to people who would say things that are contrary to that. I'm not gonna listen to people that are speaking from a place of fear. And man, wisdom's a really good thing. It's so important. And I'm going through Proverbs. It's all about wisdom. It's so important that we listen to people and we're open to counsel and like wise counsel, all that stuff. But I just, for me personally, hearing from the Lord and doing what He's called me to do, that's what I'm sticking to, man. And yeah, I guess to go with that as well, it's so important too with anything we're doing, not talking about just crypto stuff, but business stuff and anything along those lines related to business, right? That we're making informed decisions. You've got to be honest with yourself. Have you really done the research to be doing what you're doing, or are you just jumping in because of the fear of missing out? Everybody else is doing it. You see everything going up, and you think, yeah, if I get in, I could do something here. Have you done 1,000 hours of research? Have you done 100 hours of research? Like, you're gonna get what you pay for. So hopefully, just a good message for you guys on risk. Maybe that was helpful for some of you guys. And yeah. God bless you guys. Have a good day.